I was pointing to your shirt to be sure the viewers can see that Portland. There you go. Now we're clear. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Dr. Don. The title of this evening's show is the Filipino guy, Rafael Naldoza, and it'll be interesting for you to learn how I met him and how we've got to talk about him coming on the show. And just chatting with him in a thrift store, and I'm wondering what a person of your character is doing in a thrift store, the same thing I was doing. How you feeling right now?
Oh, I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Yes. It's always good to see you again, Don.
Yeah,
after that meeting at Goodwill store.
Yeah, advertising Goodwill. Goodwill's a good cause, yeah.
or thrift store.
And we had a good time. And we were visiting so long, I thought they were going to close the store up on us, so we had to finally leave.
Right.
And for your first-time viewers, Conversations with Dr. Don that you're watching is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people, like most of you out there, about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals, and about whatever it is we have decided to talk about. And my guest and I are going to be talking about the Philippines and his life here and all sorts of other things about him. And just chatting for a few minutes in the thrift store, I found him really interesting. There's so many aspects about you that I'm looking forward to having my viewers hear from you the things you were telling me in the thrift store. But not all the things.
Not all.
Okay, so you know, the show goes in two parts. First part is what I call the bio part, the who are you, where I ask you about who you are personally, so the viewers have an idea where you're coming from when you answer questions or you talk about other things. So you ready?
Yes.
And I always have one or two trick questions that I like to ask my guests to surprise them. If I were to ask your best friend, who is Rafael? What would your best friend say? Rafael is what?
I know that it's coming. That's your best. I ask that all the time to my friends too. Well, my best friend is. I have three best friends actually. They're my boys. They're Lauren, Jesse, and Colin.
Okay, what would either one of them say about you?
They would
Rafael
say that I'm going to be always there for them, and no matter what, rain or shine. And then they would say I'm a happy guy, and I'm always helping people, and that's one of my passion.
Yeah. So put it in the first person. Pretend that you're them. Say it. Rafael is
a simple guy.
Not from what I'm seeing around here. A simple guy.
He's a simple guy.
Yeah.
Simple Filipino guy. How's that?
Simple Filipino guy, and that's significant. What's that T-shirt you're wearing?
Oh, People's Republic of Portland.
It's going to be a good evening, I can tell. For people who don't know what that means, what does that mean, the People's Republic of Portland?
Well, we have I think, in my point of view, I think Portland is the hub of so many cultures, and it's always a lot of wonderful people in this part of the country. And then I admire the city, and I've been keep coming back to the city. And when I moved to Chicago, and I missed that part of Portland, and I was still bringing it with me. And then I said, pack up my things next day and came back to Portland.
Are you going to stay this time?
Yes. Yeah, I'm staying.
So when and where were you born?
I was born and raised in the island of the Philippines. It's the south of Manila. It's called Legazpi City. And then it's very close to the ocean, and there's a lot of fishermen in that village. And I didn't turn into one. I was like, I should have been a fisherman, because my name was my mom gave me the name Raphael after the saint, San Raphael, and he's a fisherman.
So how far is that island from Luzon?
Actually, it's in Luzon. It's
in Luzon. Okay.
Southern tip of Luzon.
Southern. Okay. Yeah. And why were you born?
When I was born?
Why were you born?
Because I have a mission. in life?
Oh.
That's another trick question.
What is that mission?
Okay, my mom said she was telling me a story about. Well, she already had three girls, beautiful daughters, and then she begged and begged and begged for a boy. So he went to the church. She went to the church and then prayed to San Rafael, our patron saint,
Sure.
and then said, "If you give me a little boy, and then I will name it after you." So here I am.
And what year was that?
That was in 1965,
65. Uh-huh.
July 28th.
Yeah. Do you have a religious preference?
Well, I was raised Catholic.
Me too.
And then we would go to church every day. Not every day, but every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really big thing in our family. But when I moved
Mine too.
I moved to the United States. I still, I never went back to church again in my entire life. I've probably went to church maybe 5 times. And then
Yeah.
when I went home to the Philippines recently, my mom never questioned me of why I don't go to church because she respected me on that kind of level.
Uh-huh.
And I told mom, I said, you could always find somewhere to pray. And when you meet people, that's part of being a Catholic, practicing my religion.
Mm-hmm.
When you love somebody, that's practicing religion. When you help people, that's practicing religion.
Interesting, interesting. I never thought of it that way before. And as you said that, I was thinking about my oldest sister, who's been dead now about 8 or 9 years, and Wilna, and I'm the baby of 12 children, and by the time I was born, Mama was all worn out, so the older sisters and brothers took care of me because I was the baby of the family. And I didn't like to be called baby, but Mama called me baby until she passed when I was 15 years old, her baby. And Wilna raised me pretty much because, as I said, Mom was all worn out. And when I'd go down to L.A. to visit her before she died, there was always something going on. I would go to church with her, but I gave up Catholicism years ago. It hasn't completely given me up yet because there's certain things that I learned as a child growing up and doing the rosary and all that stuff. That's a certain sentimental value. It feels good. But I cannot embrace Catholicism anymore. I see myself now as an agnostic. I don't know, and neither do you, but I still have some sentimental feelings about Catholicism, but enough about me and my religion and your formal education. Do you have any thing of interest about your formal education that the viewers would be curious about?
Well, I went to Manila for college. Right away, I graduated high school. My sister, Anna, told me, if you want to live with me, you have to do all the chores. Then I will send you to college. So that was a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay. So I went to Manila, and then we live in an apartment. She worked in a bank, and then she would come home, so dinner is ready, and I would wash her uniforms, and I would so I'm a houseboy. I was her houseboy, and I was so proud till this time that I was able to finish a degree in psychology in Manila because of Anna and Ate Ami, also my elder sister, and also Mom would send money to Manila, and then also she would send food and supplies for us to survive.
So she was a good mom?
She is the best mom. Her name is Francia.
What's it?
Francia.
Uh-huh. Where is she now?
She's in the Philippines with my dad. They've been married for 60 years.
60 years.
They're still so in love.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And what's his name?
Jesse, but his real name is Jesus. So we're all like named after like part of the Roman Catholic. Jesus.
Yes, oh yes.
And Rafael, San Rafael.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they named me Donald Christian Baham, but the priests, the way they entered the names on the birth certificate, it turns out that legally I'm Christian Donald Baham. They had to put the Christian name
Yeah,
first. Tricky.
that's right.
Yeah. Uh, so you have any other education that's worth mentioning beyond your
Yes,
degree in psychology?
when I moved to the United States, I went back to school and I finished a post baccalaureate program for elementary education.
Uh-huh.
And then I was able to teach art in elementary school, and I was able to pioneer that art program. We call it visual motor integration. And the principal hired me because she's an artist also, but she wanted to bring in art to her elementary school. She believed that through art, in some ways, when children are involved in motor skills and visual and artistic creativity, they also, it helps their higher thinking. They are
Yes, of
able
course.
to create and productive, and according to surveys, it's actually helps their academic skills
Yes,
and their mind.
yes.
So it was a very, very interesting and wonderful experience when I taught art. I taught from K to fifth grade. I taught the entire kids in that elementary school.
Uh-huh. And how long did you do that?
That was in 1999 and 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2000, we moved back to Oregon. So I left the school, and the principal and I cried together. And then she said, "The kids love you. You made a big difference about these kids."
This was in Chicago?
In Texas,
In Texas. You're all
Arthur
over
Heights Elementary School in Killeen, Texas.
Yeah. Anybody else in your family has an artistic temperament or creativity?
Actually, my uncle, uh, my mom's sister, my mom's brother,
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Joe. I saw him when I was growing up. He would just draw and draw and draw, and then he had this artistic skills and talent. So I was fascinated with his talent, and I said, I think I can do that too. But it has to be a passion for me to enjoy it,
Of
not
course,
by
yeah.
just I want to do it.
Uh-huh.
I want to do it because I love it. I love doing it.
Yeah.
It keeps coming, I think my life is keep coming back to art. I didn't paint for a long, long time, Don. And I started painting again.
Uh-huh.
It just has to. I think it's within me, and I can't get over it
Do you
in
want
a good way. It's like I can't take it off. Like clothes you can take off your clothes, but I can't take it off from my DNA.
Do you do well enough with your art to feed yourself and put a roof over your head?
I consider myself I'm a starving artist.
Aren't they all? Yeah.
But I love to cook. Just recently we've been preparing our garden
This time of year.
this time of year, and then but the real farmer here is Paul, my brother-in-law, and he's my roommate, and then he's an amazing chef, and he's an amazing gardener, farmer, and avid cyclist. So we stay busy.
Uh-huh. You two live together?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a wife and children or anything like that?
I have an ex-wife, the ex-mother of my children. They live in in a separate house, and I'm back to my old house with my roommate Paul, and then his mom have a separate quarter, and we take care of the cooking, and she's a very independent woman. Her name is Carolyn. I love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
She's 90 years old, and she's still
90.
doing dog shows, and she is so passionate about her dog, Sandy.
Uh-huh.
And when I see her, it fills my heart. It warms my heart when I see her, what she's doing. She's very independent. I didn't even have to, take care of her. And she is very strong woman and loving ex-mother-in-law. But I can't divorce my in-laws. They're still part of my life and my family, and
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. You have a softness, a gentleness about your eyes. Yeah, it's nice
Thank
to.
you.
I recognize that in Goodwill when I was visiting with you. The way you are. Yeah,
I think we're meant to meet, Don. I think we're meant to meet and talk about life.
Let's sing a few bars of Kumbaya. Okay, Kumbaya.
I love it here. I should have brought my guitar.
You play?
I don't read music. I only have like the basic ones, but I can play by ear. But the real musician in my family are my boys. Lauren is the amazing violinist for the Lewis and Clark College.
Uh-huh.
He's the concert master there.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 21 in July, July
Uh-huh.
6th. He's in Spain right now,
Uh-huh.
but he's coming home on May 24th. I can't wait to see him and hug him and say, "I love you. I miss you." And Jesse is gonna be 17. He plays the trumpet. And then Colin, my youngest son, is gonna be 14 on June 6th, and he plays the violin. His eldest brother is teaching him lessons for free. That's a good deal there.
So the artistic temperament is genetic,
I
and
think
with
it
your
is.
sons are like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
I believe that. Well, my ex-wife's Annette is my ex-wife, and she played the clarinet when she was in college, or I think she was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So there's music in the family, and my also my father-in-law, he passed away last year. He is an avid, amazing person. He loves music. He just loves music, and he's a psychologist. So when I
Uh-oh.
yes, that's it. So when Annette and I were still dating in the Philippines, because my Annette went to the Philippines and worked for Peace Corps. That's where we met.
So you've been in the Peace Corps.
I was working for Peace Corps as a language uh, uh, instructor,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's where we met. We met in I can't think of the year now.
Yeah.
So I met this beautiful, tall, blonde woman, American woman.
Uh-huh.
I just fell in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still love her. Now I consider her as my sister, so I gained another sister. So I have 4 sisters now.
Where is she now?
She is, she lives with my kids, and she's a teacher at Jacob Wismer.
At where?
Jacob Wismer Elementary School
Uh-huh.
in Bethany area.
That's in the Portland area.
Part of Beaverton School District.
Beaverton. Okay, shows
Bethany.
how much I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think pretty close here.
Oh yeah.
Amazing woman. She's an amazing mom to my kids. That's why I love her. That's like my sister now.
So maybe we'll figure out some sort of a way to get your kids on too
That's right.
in the future. Yeah.
Well, I told Lauren, I said, "Hey, you want to come with me?" I met Don, Dr. Don, but he went to Spain, and maybe someday he'll play for you. Oh, and the kids, the other two.
Okay.
So the three of them. We'll serenade you, Don.
Okay.
Promise.
Yeah. Can you talk about your political persuasion? Is it safe for you to do that? Are you a liberal, conservative?
I think I'm
Left
very
or
liberal.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in my point of view, I would say it's always politics is always in the way. It gets in the way to a lot of mess in the world, and politics slows down, or it's also sometimes it rushes things in life when it comes to politics. So, but I'm pretty liberal.
With that T-shirt, what else can you be? Yeah. Are your family going to see this show? That you're
I hope
doing?
so.
Yeah.
They would probably have a kick out of this show. They would just say, "Oh, you're in TV. You're famous now. Now I can do the autograph,
Yeah.
so I can charge them."
Yeah. You have any memberships in political or social or civic organizations worth mentioning at all?
No.
Any persons from the past or alive today that you particularly admired or admire or look up to? Any names of people that like that?
Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
Some Filipino dead heroes. Jose Rizal. He used the pen. Jose Rizal is our national hero. In the Philippines. He fought for the freedom from the Spanish
Yeah.
colonization, and he used his pen. He wrote books, and then he broadcasted the corruption of the Spanish regime in the Philippines. So he was able to let us free.
Okay. And you're free now.
I am free as a bird. I wish I could fly.
Yes. Yeah. What's right with America today? Give me a couple
What's right?
Yeah, a couple of things that are right with America.
Freedom of speech,
Yes.
Constitution, so much freedom to be who you are, or who you will be in someday.
Sure. What's wrong with America? Give me a couple of examples of what's wrong with America today.
Well, I can think of, well, I don't like war. I love peace.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use the war to make peace, but sometimes they use war to just for the sake of having war. For could be political benefit, could be land benefit, could be something that they think that they could acquire or steal from people.
Yeah.
So that's what's wrong. But the war outside, we have war too here in the United States. War on hunger, war on drugs, war on child abuse,
Yeah.
war on inequality, and war on racism.
What do we need to do to make things better in America today?
Get along.
Okay.
Well, there's some basic words like love. Try to, accept people, acceptance, and this generation is our future. We should invest more on education and children and art.
Yeah. I noticed you said love, and people
Really?
oftentimes talk about love, but rarely does anyone ever say what love is. Do you have a thought about what love is?
I think when you love someone, you try to respect them. When you love someone, you try to accept them for who they are, regardless of the color of their skin, race, religion, etc., or their sexual orientation, and or you just embrace them for who they are, because we're human beings.
Yeah.
And the humanity is what's lacking right now is that love, caring for each other.
Yeah.
We belong to this world, in a global scale. We belong together. We should be united.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's close to time for us to take a break, and then we're going to ask you some questions in the second half about why you call yourself the Filipino guy, and some other questions we have. Let's take a break right now, Mr. E, and we'll come back later on and talk about other stuff. Okay, we're back. Thanks for staying tuned. And for you viewers who missed the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don, that you're watching, is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like my guest tonight, Rafael and Naldoza. And we're going to talk about his art and other stuff in the second half of the show. We talked about where you're from, of course.
Yes.
And why did you join the Peace Corps?
Well, after college, that was the first job that I got into, and I said, I will try it. My brother-in-law's friend was working for Peace Corps, and she said that there was an opening for a language instructor for Bicol. That's my native language in the Philippines. So I was able to travel from island to another island, and we would have training in different islands, and the Peace Corps volunteers, American Peace Corps volunteers would come to the Philippines, and then they would have a 2-year program service. And then they would either come with different, like if you're a doctor, so you're going to be in the medical field. And if you're a teacher, you're going to be in the education field. So they would have programs or service in terms of what they have specialized.
Sure.
So, for example, Annette is in education. So she was able to work with teachers, and then and in elementary school, and then she would actually kind of like mentor the teachers on the curriculum here in the United States, and then she would also teach students English second language.
But you had to be there to interpret.
Yes.
Yeah, between the Americans and the people.
Actually, we have a program. So Peace Corps volunteers would learn the language in a small classroom. We would have like a month training. And then we would have it in like a resort, or it could be like a meeting place, or like somewhere outside Manila. Mm-hmm. And then we would train them and teach them the language, and we would simulate the cross-cultural learning too. And then we would take them on food, language and food, for them to practice the language. We would take them to the market. We would take them to different, like the post office, so they could practice their we call it gambits, like on how to do it in Filipino language.
Yeah.
The best job, Peace Corps, it's anything with peace I get excited. So they were, Peace Corps was founded by JFK.
Yeah.
And then it's still going.
Still going
and
today.
I think that's another one thing right about America is promoting goodwill and peace to other countries that are needing help. Like the Philippines is a third world country, so they need assistance in terms of getting into better education, medical field, what we're doing here.
So. Do you remember the first time you saw Annette?
Yes. I still have, yeah, I could still play it back in my mind right away.
Uh-huh.
Like, turn it on. And then we could have a little movie,
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
projector like right now. Yes, we met in Cebu, another island in the
Uh-huh.
central part of the Philippines. And she was stationed in Leyte. First time I saw her, I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry.
Yeah.
Yes. And,
How long did it take you before you married her?
well, I serenaded her.
Did you?
Yes. I said the moon was shining, and it was a full moon.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's perfect because we believe in full moon. You could always serenade and win the heart of a woman.
Uh-huh.
And I did. And I approached her. I said, would you like to, you know, come with me and let's serenade the moon?
So that's delightful. That
Yes.
story. Yeah. You have you were in a refugee camp in Bataan.
Yes. I work for the United Nations Refugee High Commissioner for Refugees. And I was the language instructor for, I taught ESL, English Second Language,
Yes.
to Indo-Chinese refugees
Mm-hmm.
during that 1980s, during the boat people leaving Vietnam.
Yeah.
That was they shared so many great stories, and I admire those people, and it taught me a lot about survive and having freedom, having that there's no fear. If you want to have freedom, there's no fear. There's no going back, and you just move forward.
Yeah.
That's how the boat people, you know, they probably label them the boat people, but those are amazing people.
Yeah. They wanted a better life for themselves. Freedom.
Yes, freedom.
Now, you went back to the Philippines to help your dad do something to his house, add another story or something.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
Well, Anna, my sister, said she was recently in the Philippines, and then when she came home, he said, "You know what? Dad is not doing well." So he said, "You need to go home, and we have a project for you." And I said, "Yes." And when I went home, it was like when I came home, it was like another feeling. It's like I felt this in me that I'm a stranger in my own country.
Yes.
And it's just the feeling of I'm lost, in that country that used to be my home.
Yes.
It's still my home. It's gonna be my home forever.
Of course.
But this is my home now here because I have my family here. I have my boys. So when I went to Manila, and I was glad to see my parents. So the project done is to build him another bedroom downstairs. And then the project was only limited time. I was only there for 6 weeks, and I wasted 2 weeks of just finding the right contractor. So he's gonna build my dad's room. Finally, I was able to find a contractor, and then I had 3 workers, and we built the room, my dad's room, in 15 days.
15 days.
15 days.
You were really working, huh?
So I was lost, but I found my way again in that city. I was able to bargain again. I was able to, because I know the language,
Sure.
and I was able to, we were able to save a lot of money. So I took over the budget, and then I would shop. I would go out every day and shop for supplies. And it was like I've never done it before, but it was like it taught me a lot of things, great things. And my dad was happy, and now he's doing well. And I was so glad. I was so fortunate to do it for my dad and to my mom too, because they're so in love, and I was doing it for my parents. And my sister financed the project, so I was the supervisor. But amazing things that I mean, I saw my mom practice all this caring again, and she would feed the workers. She would feed the workers. I said, Mom, I already paid the workers, so they have the budget for food. I said, no, no, we have to feed the workers. I said, okay, I'm not going to argue with that because she enjoys doing that.
So it seems like the different cultures, it seems to be certain cultures seem to have more family integration and more loving relationships among the members of a family than in other cultures. And I have a sense that there was more of this going on in your particular family, even though there's a Filipino culture in the background. From the way you're talking about your family and the look on your face when you talk about them, there was something very special going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just like my mom said, if you live in our house, you're family, even if you're distant relatives. And she was able to send people to college, give them education. She was able to do that. And I said, Mom, you're incredible. She's just constantly helping people.
What happened in September 13 and 2013?
That was
That wasn't
September
too long ago.
13, 2013.
2013.
That fateful Friday, the 13th, I was training for a marathon last year.
A marathon on your feet?
I was going to run the marathon, the Chicago Marathon.
Oui.
The Chicago Marathon was scheduled on October 13, 2013, and then I got struck by a car while running, doing the training, my usual route, and then I got struck from behind. And it just flew me. It was more like a near-death experience in my life. That's why I said, God, I thought I died that day. I think I did a little bit for a short period, second. And then I was covered with road rash, hit my head and everything. And I was able to, so I called Paul first, my brother-in-law. I said, don't worry, I'm alive. I got hit. I'm on my way to the emergency room. And then I called Annette. I called my best friend, Nancy. And it was amazing people in my life who took care of me that day. And so it's glad to be alive.
What were the extent of your injuries?
Pretty bad road rash. And then my neck still, kind of bothered me once in a while. And there's concussion in my head, and it was like my head was like balloon a little bit, and then blood started coming out. But I the moment I got hit, I just kind of sat down, and then I said, I think I'm glad I'm not living this.
And that was recent?
That was last year.
Yeah.
September 13. It's going to be a year in September this year. So I was able to recover from the wounds, and then I still doing some therapy, and then so it's good to be alive.
Of course.
Second life, like
You had a near-death experience.
Yep.
Any more thoughts about what that means, a near-death experience? And I've had one or two of those in my many, many years, but what was yours like?
I just probably was kind of like, like in the boxing, you knocked out an opponent and maybe they count you from 9, till...
Yeah.
I think I did about probably, I would say 8 seconds of not able to feel where I am and know where I am. And then I believe in angels, I think. My angels saved me that day.
Yes.
The living and the...
I'm glad they did.
I'm so glad that I have not met you. I said, I think I'm not finished with my mission here. I still have to meet Don and be on his show.
What's your passion in life?
Art.
Art.
Kids. My kids. People. Food.
Yeah.
Family and friends.
Is it time now for you to show us some of your art and talk
Sure.
about what you're showing us?
Absolutely.
Where do we start?
Behind me?
Behind you. You get that, Mr. Cameraman?
Oh, we got a couple of big ones.
Yeah. So this is the one you're going to talk about right behind you. Yeah,
Yes,
that is interesting.
So I didn't use any brush on this. I used my hands.
Uh-huh.
That's how I painted this.
Okay.
And I thought, I said, I want to try feeling it, you know, because I want to feel the paint. I want to feel what I'm painting. And this is an abstract of anatomy. I'm just fascinated with human anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's an abstract. I haven't named it yet.
Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So the thought came to your mind that you would do this and have your thoughts and your feelings appear on this canvas.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I love vibrant colors.
Yes. Okay.
And I love the texture, particularly on the painting.
Was
And
there something particular about your putting the paint on with your hands rather than a brush? Is there something special about that?
yes, I've done painting with brush so many times, and I think I'm getting bored with brush. You know, and I said, I want to use my hand. It's kind of a personal thing to feel that.
Uh-huh.
It's more like on a personal level.
I've never met anybody who painted with their hands before. Okay, you want to show us another one now?
Right behind you.
Okay.
Actually, it's a series. I'm doing a series of these paintings, the big ones. These are 3 feet by 4 feet panels on plywood.
Ah, yeah, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Wow, that sort of looks like the planets and the Earth. And oh, you tell us what's going on with that.
Well, again, as I've said, Don, I'm doing a series on human anatomy
Human anatomy.
in an abstract way.
Uh-huh.
So, but people can see other things, and I totally accept that,
Yeah.
appreciate that, and it's like well, my friend kind of named that piece of painting. It's the flight of the bluebird.
The flight of the bluebird.
The flight of the bluebird.
Okay. When it comes to painting, I'm not too sharp with that, but I take your word for it, and I find that the colors are pretty. I confess to not being oriented in that direction too much, but I like it.
Thank you.
All right. Now, what else do we have?
Well, on to the
table.
It's a portrait of, actually, that's Picasso. So I saw a photograph of Picasso. He's one of my artists that I admire.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of made him a clown. Yes, that's Picasso.
Uh-huh.
So
Wow,
I
yeah.
painted that from a photograph of Picasso, and he looks very, very, his big eyes, and he looks puzzled sometimes, and he's, you know, when he thinks about making art, he's amazing.
Is that going to be in the Smithsonian one day?
I'm not sure.
All right.
Well, if you say so, Don, I would say yes.
Now, I'll tell you, the one next to it turns me on.
Okay.
I like that one.
I started that piece inspired by a friend. Again, that's part of the series, the human anatomy. So I started using my hand on that one, that small piece, and I actually, you know, moving on to the big panels.
Interesting. I'm not sure what is it about it that I like, but it turns me on.
Good.
Now, shall we go down to the one below it?
Yes.
Oh, no, you went across the table.
Okay, that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, this piece.
Tell me about. Rick. That's my cameraman.
All right, you want to talk about this one?
Yes, of course.
This is a vessel, a small vessel I made when I was attending college in Texas. And then, so you can actually take the hat off.
Uh-huh.
So it's a shaman guy, because I grew up in the Philippines. My lolo is kind of sort of a shaman, like the community doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and he uses herbal medicine to cure minor ailments like
Mhm.
sprain, headache, nausea, or it could be a stomach ache or toothache. So he passed away already. He's passed away, and so the healing touch of his hand is amazing. And I was with him at a younger age.
Mm-hmm.
He was my good friend.
Yeah.
I call him Lolo or Itai. Itai is a word for dad
Uh-huh.
in the Philippines. So everybody calls him Itai. And then everybody calls my dad Tatay. Tatay is another word for dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's a high-powered fired clay that I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And I got fascinated with clay. I used a lot of clay one time in when I was attending college, and then I specialized in art, and I was able to make some sculptures, and I just loved it. Like I just like holding, clay, wet clay, and then it turns a very dense ceramics.
So
Okay.
shaman has some healing ability and some like a physician without all the credentials and stuff.
Correct.
And I guess the American and I guess the European pharmaceutical industry has looked at some of the stuff that shaman do in other cultures and managed to take out the elements that can actually do some help a good
Yes.
person get well and get better,
Mhm.
and synthesizing them and sell them as prescriptions. But shamans for many, many years have been good healers and helped a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. You have any more thoughts about shaman?
Well, growing up in the Philippines is a very superstitious country, and we believe in ghosts. We believe in the healing power of we call them community doctor without the credentials, like my Itai, and they would have ceremonial when he healed a person, and then I think the person whose ailment is like, for example, stomach ache, and he would like give that person like something from the garden, herbal
Yes.
garden.
Oh, yes.
Like it could be tea
Yeah.
in modern times now.
Uh-huh.
And then so I rarely went to the doctor when I was a kid. Rarely get sick, knock on wood. And because he constantly fed us with good herbs, like herbal, medicines, and then lots of vegetables, lots of because he's a gardener too.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think part of it, I think he has gifted hands, and then his intention is very very natural and real for the person to get well.
And that is so powerful.
I think
We
I believe
claim
that.
and think we know so darn much with this brain, this neocortex, and we
That's right.
forget. Did we ever talk about the one on the bottom here?
Oh, yeah. Let's move on to that. That piece of mass is another part of the shaman series that I did. And again, it's more like a pagan mask, and but I kind of believe that there's this good spirit there, either to heal your ailments or to heal your soul.
Do you have any of these in your little temple in your home that you pray to?
I don't usually pray on like a little altar. Paul owns it now. I gave it to him. He's not here. He's in Puerto Rico right now, but so I stole from from his room. I said, "I'll put it back."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see, what else can I ask you? And we talked about your family here in the U.S. Did we talk enough about them? Your family here in the U.S.?
Well, yes, I think we did. I have 3 kids: Lauren,
Yeah.
Jesse, and Colin, and they're my buddies.
Can we talk a little bit about what's going on in the world nowadays that viewers may be curious about what you think, how you feel about some of the things that are going on that America is involved with that I certainly think about, and perhaps maybe too much. I wonder how our president in this country is doing and how he could do better. Any impressions about how he's been so far in his presidency, or Barack Obama?
Okay, I think he has a lot of good intentions for this country, and some people might not agree with it. Some people might agree with it, but coming back home, I was in the Philippine Ninoy Aquino International Airport. I was leaving the Philippines to come home from my trip, and I met this young, beautiful nurse, and I got to talking to her, and she said she's there. She spent a couple of months in the Philippines to help the people in Leyte, in Tacloban. Tacloban was the one got ravaged by the typhoon Yolanda.
Yes.
And I was just like, I said, you are awesome, for doing this to my people.
Yes.
And she quit her job here in the United States and went to the Philippines to serve my people. I think that's one thing about other programs like the United States is, in terms of calamity, in terms of disaster, we're there for any part of the world.
Sure.
I think that's one of the programs that any part of Obama's administration is doing and helping.
Yeah.
And I'm just not a very political person.
Okay. All right.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you think he's doing okay, huh?
I think
As
so.
president.
He needs to, invest more on education programs and nature and peace, world peace.
Who's going to replace him in the next presidential election?
That's a good question.
I don't have an answer for that either.
I don't have an
I thought maybe you might have an answer. I thought I'd test that.
I might have to check my crystal ball.
That's as good as anybody else, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts or comments that you want to make to the viewers about anything that comes to mind right now? Your time on the show, or about anything else you talked about, anything else you want to say? Look at that camera and talk to the viewers and tell them what you think.
I think life is wonderful. If we make our world a better world to live in, and in many ways, I think investing for children in our kids' future, giving them lots of love and art and music and great soul food, and I think and also contributing to the world as like the citizen of the world, like from a very simple, basic emotions that we call love and caring and nurturing. And you don't have to go to the Philippines. You don't have to go anywhere. It starts in the family. It starts right in your backyard or your house or our dwellings.
Yeah. Be nice.
Be nice.
That's what it boils down
Tolerance.
to me. Just be nice.
Be nice.
And you go from that and you expand it, loving somebody else. And as you can see, in my closing comments, I'll talk about KFC. But anyhow, we'll be getting to that pretty soon here. So shall we shut down, Mr. E, Director? I think it's time to start shutting down. Okay, some public service announcements.
Okay.
To get my show, local broadcast schedule, go to my website and click on present day activities, and you can see the broadcast schedule. To watch my shows on the web, go to Don Baham YouTube and click on a particular show. There's hundreds of shows listed there, and I've interviewed all kinds of people, truck drivers, pizza makers, researchers, medical doctors, all sorts of people there.
Great.
And the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. Without the ACLU, our civil liberties would be in bigger trouble than they are right now. And I think they are in trouble because civil liberties are being subordinated in the pursuit of fighting terrorism and all sorts of other diversions. We should be using our energy for creativity and helping other people. Okay, and what else? To get my shows broadcast by other stations from the communities where you're watching this particular show, ask your local public access station to go to pegmedia.org and follow the instructions on how you can get my shows broadcast from that particular part of the country. And we got to end corporate personhood so that corporations cannot be treated as people and money is not treated as speech. Go to www.movetoamend.org to end corporate personhood and take our country back. Well, thanks for watching. And remember KFC. I was telling you about KFC earlier.
Yes.
Not Kentucky Fried Chicken. Dr. Don's KFC. Kind, friendly, and charitable. Be kind.
There you go.
Be friendly and be charitable to you too, especially you.
Thank you. Thank you, Don.
And you. And Goofy Rick. And Mr. E, my director. And Roger in the corner where I can't see right now. Thanks again for watching. And good night.
Thank you.